This American Monster. A Monster of the Week actual play from This American Dice. Last time on This American Monster. The team learned that they're searching for a creature that at least 3 times a month consumes the flesh and the hearts of its victims. They will have to search in the swampset forest, but they've learned that their quarry also comes into the city far too often.
Hold it right there, you son of a bitch. And that's where we see that. And we kind of fade back into you with like a bum. And Ashton is there. He's holding his phone in one hand, and or maybe it's spilled out. You can kind of describe that situation. But yeah, you are face to face with someone holding a gun.
Oh, he has his nunchucks too. Kind of put his hands up, like you said, one hand with the phone and the other with a pair of nunchucks that are just like dangling down. It's just like, have you seen any were-panthers, sir?
And he's like, what the hell are you doing out here? What do you want?
Sure, yeah, I'm with if you could put that gun down. I'm with a really important organization. We're looking for something that's been eating animals and things.
What the hell are you talking about?
Like I said, I'm with a really important organization. We're just looking for some rare creature that's been killed an animal.
This sounds like you're manipulating this guy to me.
Sure.
Could you go ahead and make you want him to put this gun down and listen to you?
Yeah, sounds right. That is a charm roll. I'm good at that. So charming.
Such a charming young man.
I have a 9.
A 9. All right, cool. So with a 9, does it work the same way where you have to give him some kind of concrete assurance?
Let's see. On 7 to 9, they'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show that you mean it. If you ask too much, they'll tell you what, if anything, it would take them to do it.
Sure. Yeah. So what could you do to give this guy some kind of to give this guy right now something for that?
He's going to gingerly put down his nunchucks.
Mm-hmm.
So he's unarmed now, of course.
Sure.
He was surely worried about that, the farmer guy. And then just show him the, I think we said last time that he was going through Darkblade's Cryptologica.
Awesome. Yep,
Yeah.
that is perfect. And this guy does indeed put the gun down, and he walks up into like a little bit more of the light, and kind of the moonlight kind of shows you that this is a shorter man, and he's probably upset that there are parts of him not covered in denim, but he's wearing a lot of denim. And he is played by Tim Blake Nelson. And he comes up and he's staring at the thing, and he kind of like gawks down at it real close for a while. And he's like, I knew there was some kind of son of a bitch out here messing up with my cattle. I'd told Sheriff Brown a whole bunch of times, and now I can't stay. So, all right. So you're looking out here for this. What is it? I see you have, it says on here, were bunny, were mole. What are you thinking it is?
Well, it could also be a were-panther, although...
Were-panther? Huh. He's like, who you say you're with again?
Oh, Lorecore, do you know of our Band-Aids?
You're with the people who makes Band-Aids?
Well, yeah. I have a full job there.
I guess it all probably goes up to the top anyhow. So yeah, makes sense. Here, come on with me. And he's like, pick up your bike there. Don't leave it out here. Who knows? I don't know does it say anything on that website if a were-panther can ride a bike?
I mean, not yet, but I'll keep looking. That's actually a good point.
You better take your bike. Let's go. Come on in. and he brings you in. He can kind of tell you about his farm and that kind of stuff, and just give you some general information. So information you don't need any kind of roll for, because this guy's just down to tell you about this. Jed Stoltzfus has had, over the course of a year or so, a little bit under a year, numerous instances of like cattle mutilation. So he's a cattle rancher. He has kind of a small ranch, and oftentimes almost every month for about a year, one of his cows has been killed. And he can tell you that it's been like ripped apart. It looked like it got attacked by some kind of big animal. And that's when Jed Stoltzfus drops the A-bomb on you. Aliens. And he's like, I heard on that show Beyond Belief with the guy from Star Trek about aliens who get come down, and before they probe people and everybody gets abducted, that they come down and they make sure cows get all cut up from the inside. And I'm gonna have to say that that's probably what's going on here. So yeah, it could be some kind of were-panther or were-rabbit, but that's not as likely, I think, as aliens, because they can just get down and mess these cows up.
He kind of looks around. He's like, well, I didn't consider that, but I'll add that to my notes.
Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, you think if all right, let's say this. Let's say the were-panther and the were-rabbits and the aliens are all in this together. Is there any way that, because I mean, Sheriff Brown, he won't listen to me none. I call him and tell him about this stuff, and he thinks I've been drinking all the time, but I tell him I ain't been drinking since back in 2007. I cut myself off then. But till now, I call him up. He doesn't even listen. Doesn't even come out no more. So I guess I got to ask you, what's the next step? How do we make sure these were-moles don't come on through? I ain't found any tunnels.
Well, can you show me where the most recent mutilation happened?
Well, I mean, it's dark right now, but yeah, I can give you a hand with that. All right. Now I'd like you to go ahead and roll Investigate a Mystery.
Well, got a problem, though, because that's a 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I do get an experience.
He'll show you pictures. He'll be like, "Oh, it's too dark right now. It's too dark right now to go out there and bring you out from where y'all could see it. But here, how about this? I took a bunch of pictures of it. Here, take a look at this." And he has a bunch of, just for the fuck of it, a bunch of Polaroid pictures that he's got, and it's pretty grisly stuff. It looks like somebody blew up a cow.
Mm-hmm.
And like in several of these instances, and so there's several different pictures, and he'll tell you that, like, the fences were never messed up, nothing destroyed the fences. I never heard much of a commotion. He's like, I could probably start bringing the cows in, but then I'm afraid that whatever's going after them will come after me. So I don't want him to come in. I wish Sheriff Brown would get off his butt and do something, but if you're working for the Band-Aid company, I mean, obviously this all goes straight to the top, and there's probably something in this here that I'm just not seeing yet. And very clearly at some point, he's like, "Don't look in there." And he closes a door, but you very clearly saw like red yarn all over the wall and like pictures of cows and like drawings of aliens. And it says like, "Am I human? ? Powers ? And like, yeah. And so he closes that door, and he's like, "How much did you see it? What was in that room?"
He's like, "Wait, have you been researching this before?"
I think this guy just says, "That's not an answer to that question."
He says, "Listen, maybe we could combine our efforts. If you really have looked this or have found some connections before, maybe that could help us in our research."
He's like, "I'm gonna go ahead and gather up all my pictures and ask you to kindly move along there, son. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got taped episodes of Jeopardy to watch and know all the answers to. And he gathers up his Polaroids and basically kicks you out.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's like, well, if you would like to share your findings, let us know.
And you just
Here's my number.
Oh, if you give him your number, he's like, you can leave it on the table. That's when you're able to kind of reconnect with those guys. You're able to get a call to them, and they can come by with the van and pick you up. And the big thing is you were able to spot some of the dates on you're able to spot some of the dates from when he found the cattle. If you look for wider patterns that current events might be part of, roll plus sharp. So Alex, could you have Herbert roll plus sharp for me?
Yes. Carl.
Got it. What's your sharp?
Alex's
Like
sharp is 2. So that's pretty good.
All right, you rolled a total of 8.
8. All right. So on a 7 to 9, you'll hold one of these. Spend your hold during the mystery. So throughout this mystery, which technically means this session, and if we're still looking into the same mystery, the later sessions too. You can ask these questions. Is this person connected to current events more than they are saying? When and where will the next critical event occur? What does the monster want from this person? Is this connected to previous mysteries we have investigated? How does this mystery connect to the bigger picture? And you can hold these. You don't have to spend these right away. When and where will the next critical event occur? What does the monster want from this person? Is this connected to previous mysteries we have investigated, which is useless at this one? Oh, no, that's not true. You have the Gilman thing. And how does this mystery connect to the bigger picture? So you can ask those one of those at any point.
Okay. What's the next time and place that we'll have an issue?
Okay.
A monster.
So here's what I think happens. I think you guys get back together, and Ashton kind of tells you about Jed Farmer or Rancher, I guess, Jed Stoltzfus. And Jed Stoltzfus is Ashton kind of commits to memory those couple of dates, and with the date that you guys have of that jogger was killed on the night of the 9th. Or possibly in the dark hours of the morning of the 10th. You have that several other of these things. Alex is able to figure out, wait a minute. They all of the ones that Jed Stoltzfus has something in common. They all occur on either a full moon, a first quarter, or a last quarter moon. So there is a pattern. It's not, though, every full moon. It's not every first quarter moon. And it's not every last quarter moon.
I'll say, Mr. Blade, is this pattern mean anything to you? I mean, I'm sure we're all familiar with the full moon's relationship with the werewolf, but does this quarter moon adherence mean anything? Is this a new kind of monster we're dealing with?
Well, it could be 2 monsters. I don't know if anybody ever thought of that.
Clever. Hadn't considered that.
So there's let me check the forums, because I mean, obviously werewolves attack, eat on the full moon, but maybe there's, maybe it's like an Australian werewolf where there are full moons when our quarter moon is. You ever think about that? So I'm gonna check on Wikipedia right now and make a post and put it on the front page.
Genius.
Could be a quarter werewolf.
Or that.
Yeah. So, all right. So you are, is that you want to roll net friends or are you just trying to investigate a mystery?
Yeah, I'm trying to investigate a mystery.
Awesome. So go ahead and roll plus sharp.
Carl,
You got 10.
what did I get? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't answer your next question, or I didn't answer your question actually before fully from your connect the dots roll, Alex. I apologize. So Herbert realizes a connection between these dates, but he also realizes a connection of this place. All right. He says, well, it makes sense that these cattle would be mutilated, but how does that connect to this student that was killed in the city, in that park? And you'd wager whatever did this has to have a connection between that area, that city park, and the Caniola City Park, and this area of Dreefield near Jed Stoltzfus's ranch. And you do know that there is a state park directly next to or in abutment to Jed Stoltzfus's ranch. So there's the possibility that these three locations are important in some way or another to this creature.
I'll chime in and say, hey, Mr. Blade, or any of you men who are more familiar with the internet than I am, do you know if Mr. Stoltzfus has any relations or children or nephews or cousins that attend that university? Would he have any reason to be around there? Is there any way we can look that up?
Maybe in Alex's investigative mystery role, we can find some information about that specifically if he's trying to find out about Jed Stoltzfus. But Alex, you got an awesome role. Thanks to Carl. Carl, thank you so much. On that investigative mystery roll. So on a 10, you get to ask 2 questions.
What's being concealed here?
I think you further figure out if you go to that state park, there's probably more things that, like, more victims basically that are there. So that's what's being concealed.
Well, being outside isn't exactly my thing, but I think that's where we need to go.
Well, it's after 5 and I'm salaried, so my wife will have my head.
There you go.
So cold.
And in
So-
fact, let's see a scene of that just for a second. So what is Mr. Welker's wife's name?
Julia Welker.
Julia Welker. Love it. So Julia Welker, she is a little bit bothered. And could you give me like 2 or 3 adjectives that describe her?
Kind-eyed, short, affectionate, just sort of like a extroverted person.
Okay. So when you get home, she's like, oh, there you are. You know, and she's been watching TV. The kids are asleep. She's watching TV. If it's maybe like 10 or 11, maybe your 13-year-old is like asleep on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And she like wakes her up, and her name is Tara, you said last time, right?
Yep.
So, she's like, Tara, wake up. Like, oh, time to go to bed. Like, and she kind of shuffles her off, and Tara's like really asleep. So she's like, oh, okay, what? Okay, yeah. And she's like, you fell asleep. And when she goes off to bed, she's like, well, there you are.
It's like, oh, hello, dear.
Like,
Sorry.
I had made dinner, and it's sitting over there. I got it. It's in the fridge. So I was worried about it getting cold, and then I realized it would make more sense for it to be cold. I really wish you would have given me a heads up that you were going to be that late. I didn't want the kids to worry. So instead, Tara and I we were watching Twilight, which gets into some territory that I'm not crazy about personally, but I know the kids loved it so much. And honestly, if it can get her to read, I'm more than happy about the situation. So the deal we have is she can watch these movies so long as anyway, is everything okay?
Well, of course. And we agreed that she's mature for her age, she can handle it. But as for me, don't worry, love. I'm leading a new team at work. getting to know the guys, and they're good guys. They're gonna fit in well at Lore Corp. I think they're gonna like it as much as I do someday, and I want them to have a good first experience with the company. But I'm so sorry I didn't call. It's just we've been so busy today. New cases to deal with. You understand.
Hey, Carl, how does Mr. Welker feel about his daughter watching movies about the existence of vampires?
Oh, like he's comfortable with it because it's just so far off base. And, like, you can't avoid like the idea that all of these things we're dealing with are addressed in culture in some way. And so, like, to be weird about it would be more odd than not to be weird about it. But I do think that no one in his family really knows the full extent of his work. They don't know like all about the supernatural world. He keeps it very he just describes it as like being the most boring job ever.
Well, he also, I think, it's not that he barely knows. It's just like so far there's only been one case where it's like, yeah, there's fucking fish people.
Yeah, and he also started off as like a regular guy.
eggs.
Yeah. So even if he did initially describe it, it was more like, oh, that's weird. So he's not like steeped in it either yet.
Okay, cool. Well, oof. Yikes. Okay, cool. So she's like, all right, well, as long as everything's all right. Well, if you want to stay up, if you want me to, I can stay up while you have dinner. There's a third one of these movies, and I guess it's still on. If you want to watch some of it, I can fill you in, but
he says, I love there is nothing I'd like more, and he will spend the rest of the night like chatting with his wife and having a loving relationship.
Yeah, so I think we kind of like fade out as she's like, all right, the girl likes the werewolf and a vampire. The werewolf is the boy who looks kind of like young Mario Lopez, but skinnier. The girl, and she's like getting into that stuff.
And he's like nodding enthusiastically.
Yeah, and she's trying to follow along to a story that clearly she didn't 100% follow, I think. And she's telling you these things in a very, very stereotypical mom kind of way of like the one that Tara likes is this one, and he's a vampire, and he looks like he's one of those Gap models from back in the 90s, and they were all whacked out on dope. So I'm not crazy about that situation. And
I remember when we all looked that young, but yeah.
She's like, I hope I was never that pale. And like we kind of fade out on that situation as you two are kind of having this like very domestic moment. But yeah, we have another commercial break, and now we see all the characters together. And is the game plan to meet up and go to this state park?
Yeah,
Yes.
We need, I think Sundry, this is warrior kind of crowd. Maybe they'll even let they even know your music, but I don't know. We got to ask around and, find out how many mangled bodies they found.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll pick everyone up in the mystery mobile and head out there first thing in the morning.
Cool. So yeah, you guys can get out there. Honestly, you guys can get there at the crack of dawn if you want, but I'm imagining you roll up at like 8 or 9 in the morning. There's a bunch of different entrances to this state park. It's actually pretty big. If you look it up, it's pretty enormous, and it has a few hills in the thing, which is not super common in Florida, but it's mostly again scrub palm meadows and like live oak trees is most of the stuff. On like a bunch of the signs that you go to, you see like some of the wildlife includes, like alligators, all these crazy birds, raccoons, which are like, how is that exciting for anybody to particularly see? But they're like, raccoons are a natural part of the wilderness. But one of the things it does point to is indeed the Florida panther, which it notes is like extremely endangered lately. Like mating programs have been used to try to increase their numbers, but they're still an incredibly endangered species that's on the cusp of extinction. You go around to several of the entrances because like the way the stuff is set up and like the way you can just look it up, it just says like, this is the park. Here's the quickest way to get there. And when you get there, it's just like a dirt lot where you can wander around in a park, which is just a forest. And you're like, this can't be the one. And you look at the map on the thing and it shows you where there's a ranger's station. And so then you guys have to get over to there. So when you actually find the ranger's station, it's a good bit later in the day. So it's half an hour, 45 minutes later than when you had started. And there's already some people kind of wandering around. And you see a guy dressed as in a park ranger thing, and he's talking to them. He's talking to a group of kids, and he's like, you see this here? This stuff? That's poison ivy. You do not want to touch that. And these kids are like, what happens? And he's like, you'll be so itchy. You'll be staying up all night with ants in your pants. And he like does like a weird little like thing. And the kids are like, oh, wow. And like, clearly this guy is like kind of a people person. He these kids kind of go off with their parents, and he's like, all right. But yeah, so here's the ranger number in case there's any kind of issue. And he sees, and he's like, oh, hey there, folks. And you see a young man, and I am imagining he is like Donald Glover late season Community. So not super, super young Donald Glover in the very beginning, but like not Donald Glover, This Is America. And he's wearing like the kind of green ranger uniform stuff. He doesn't have the hat on. But he's like, oh, hey there, folks. Good morning.
And I'll sort of like under my breath to Sunny Charms as they're walking up and say, well, taking point has worked out well for us so far. You seem to have a way with people. You want to ask him what we can ask him? Sunny is looking off at the natural beauty all around us.
Yeah, Sunny.
100
Sunny
more country hits churning in his mind. And so I'll instead turn to Mr. Greene, and I'll say,
"Oh, I'm almost imagining what if Sundry is he like is the last one to get out of the car, and he's kind of like still like rubbing his head from like a headache."
Mm-hmm. Even better.
Alex, what's up?
Oh, I got this.
Okay.
Well, hold on, Mr. Blade. You're a man of many talents, but I feel like, between the team, we've got all sorts of roles filled here. And I think this is a chance for Mr. Greene to step up.
You think this guy isn't on on my forums, dude?
I suspect that his access to the internet and therefore your forums out here may be limited. Perhaps Mr. Greene would have better luck identifying with him.
You think that he hasn't heard of me? Okay, dude. As you were.
All right. So yeah. So he's like, oh, it's the first time you're at the park?
To Ashton?
No, to just the group of everybody. You guys all got out of the same van.
Talking to you, kid.
I came here with my stepdad a few times, I guess.
He's like, oh yeah,
Real dad.
And the ranger is like, I feel he picks up on like the awkwardness of that and is like,
long lingering look.
Yeah, he just like makes a point to look at everybody in the group, and then goes, so the park is this many acres big. Like, this is how big the park is, and we got all kinds of wildlife. Are you guys just kind of hiking through, or are you looking to have an event here? Because they do have a schedule of some of those things, but most of that's done online. I can log in and do it for you, but and honestly, the pavilion stuff, that's not here. That's over at and he like goes over to the thing and points on the little like a map on the wall. And he just asks, anyway, but yeah, so if you fellas aren't too interested in any of that, then What can I help you with?
And he kind of,
Awesome.
I think Ashton kind of looks to everyone and just like, well, we heard there was some trouble here recently.
He's like, trouble? What do you mean?
Well, like animals and stuff around this area. Do you know anything about that stuff?
It's like, well, I mean, this many acres, and it's very, very large. It is a 1,000-something or multiple thousands acres large state park. I'm going to go ahead and say state forest, just to really kind of hit that home that it is mostly a forest, a state forest. And yeah, there are a lot of animals here. I mean, all kinds of stuff. You got your classics. We got gators. We got raccoons. We've got, and he lists like 7 different kinds of birds. We've got,
Oh, are any of those affected by the moon?
and it's like, are you asking about nocturnal animals? What are you, I don't understand. He's kind of says, I can give you this brochure. I'm not sure quite what you're looking for. And
Have you heard of the moon cycles?
and he's like,
And he kind of flips open this like notepad. It's like, did you know there's 4 of them?
and he asks, he's like, just kind of stares.
Mr. Walker will,
Are you trying to roll investigate a mystery right now?
Sure.
Go for it.
Ooh, pretty good. I forget what my sharp is though.
It is
A 10.
1.
Yeah, so a 10 total.
10 total. Pretty good. Pretty damn good. All right. So, what kind of info are you trying to get out of this? So you're just trying to ask this guy about. So out of character, what kind of info are you trying to get from this dude?
Oh yeah, I guess what sort of creature is it? And
What sort of creature is it? Okay. So, and again, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to try to make sure to give you information. I'm going to try to have it be based around that question. Again, out of character, what kind of information are you trying to get from this guy?
he's like, yeah. So are there any animals that are particularly active around these different cycles, especially the full moon, first quarter and last quarter, and not really the new moon?
And he's like, I don't. I think he'll just say like, I don't really pay attention to a lot of that stuff too often.
Oh, is there
myself.
someone who knows about animals that works here?
He's like, I know plenty about animals. And he's like, what are you? So you want to know what kind of creature is this? What I'm trying to get from you, and when I'm asking like out of character, how are you trying to get to this? So out of character, you're trying to go through this guy and get him to give you this information, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Or
I
is there
didn't know
another way to figure it out?
if you're just like, we'll just leave and wander around ourselves.
Whatever is easier for you, Austin. It doesn't matter.
So, okay.
If this guy's a dead end, then I'll just leave.
No, he's definitely not a dead end. But I think if you ask him specifically about animal like killings or mutilations or that kind of thing, like a lead you already have, he can tell you, he's like, yes, actually, you know what? There have been a bunch of those situations. And he'll talk with you about, he's like, oh, you guys can come in. I'll pull something up. And he boots something up on his computer and he looks at it and he's like, oh, I've been putting this down on the calendar. And he'll say, did you know that Florida actually spends more money on fighting against invasive species than it does on education?
Is that based on the moon cycle or?
He goes, well, I mean, if things from the moon come down here, then you bet your butt I'm going to make sure that those things don't come down here and kill all these beautiful native Florida species.
And then there's a camera, shot of his notebook that he's taking notes in. He just underlines aliens and says moon question mark.
Yeah. And he says, this is only my third year working here. So I started as an intern about 2 years back. And quite frankly, they don't have a ton of people looking for these jobs who are willing to work for the pay that I am willing to work for. So, I'm young. I don't have a family. So this was easy for me. Plus, I really want to make sure that native species are protected. And he kind of goes on a rant about like all these various endangered species in the state of Florida and how like if these go, this is a big problem. So this guy's talking for a bit. And
Are
he's
any
like,
of the
oh, there it is.
victims
And this
not
computer,
native?
you realize,
Yeah, like was that kid who was that college kid a Floridian?
well, he means native to Florida, like a native species to Florida. Was that college kid a Floridian? I am going to go ahead and say, and based on the fact that I'm saying it like this, Carl, odds or evens?
Odds.
All right, he was indeed a native Floridian, but not from Palmetto City.
I'll say, hey, where are you from?
Also, you know that Jed Stoltz's cows have been regularly attacked, and cows are certainly not native to Florida.
Interesting. I'll be like, hey, Trooper Dan, where are you from originally?
And he's like, that's right. I haven't introduced myself. I apologize for that. My name is it is Dan. That's crazy. Oh, wait, I have a name tag on. He's like, you know what? I forget. And he's like, Daniel Pringle. How you doing? Oh, shucks. What are your names? And then you guys all introduce yourselves.
I'll say my name is Mr. Welker. These are my associates, Mr. Greene, Mr. Charms, and Mr. Blade. We are here with LoreCorp, and we want to help.
Blade. Damn. Oh, sorry.
He's a
Darn.
singular character.
Sounds wild.
Well, we've all had a little wild in our lives, but we want to help you have a little less wild in your life. And our company is interested in public safety around here, and
He's like,
we're asking all these.
company?
Well, LoreCorp. Surely you've heard of us. You might wipe your ass with our product if you don't mind my saying so.
He's like,
Yeah, but we're headquartered right here in Palmetto City.
And he's
That's
like,
right.
and you want to help us out with what's going on?
Well, we have a lot of different divisions, and we've also got we have R&D, we have animal control. Believe it or not, corporations these days. Do you know that how many of the top corporations and brand names are all owned by the same companies? Sort of the same with LoreCorp.
And I think he's like, oh, I know. Yeah. Could you go ahead and do a manipulation roll for this dude?
Perfect. Been waiting to roll one of these because I have a real bad charm score.
And he's kind of nodding his head, and he's like, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he even says ominously, oh, I know all about the Lore Corporation.
I got a 6, so
You got
someone could
6.
theoretically help me if they're interested.
Is anybody interested in helping out?
Help you alienate this guy by talking about corporate America? No way.
Anyone?
It's fine.
Go
I
on.
don't care.
Sure, I'll do it.
Go for it.
So I'm rolling with cool. The coolest guy is me. My cool is 1. So a 7.
7. Okay, so that boosts that to 1, right? Boost that
Skating
by
by.
1, so that kicks it to 7. Okay. Yeah, so this guy, you realize, like, he's pretty nervous about the moment you bring up the Lore Corporation, and you're like, oh, so many of the products, you probably wipe your butt with our toilet paper. You probably bought, and you're like, oh, this guy, and I'm just going to give this to you. You see all this stuff. This guy does not seem like he's super into the big corporate aspect of stuff. And it's super clear really quickly.
Great. So Mr. Wilkers is going to keep going on. He says, we're a streamlined company and we handle pretty much everything. Isn't that crazy?
Hey, Welker,
Yes, Mr. Charms.
you want to check out those tracks outside that we were looking into?
I'll say, well, I was just having a. Oh, yes, of course, Mr. Charms.
Sure. And then how Ashton pop into the conversation to kind of save Welker's bacon here?
I mean, it seems like Sundry already took care of her, right? So maybe he's like, yeah, over there.
I could use Ashton.
Yeah.
I could say like, oh boy, here's a local, born and bred. So not all the Lorcors, some giant corporate mess. A lot of us are just native.
Yeah, and recognizing this is clearly not my forte, I'll like wander outside, like looking around, and leave them in the room.
He needs to know that that whatever you're talking about has some positive impact on native species of Florida. Like he needs to know that it has something to do with that, because at the moment he's hearing, oh, here's this big corporation that makes all of these products that he thinks that all end up in the rivers and kill all of these creatures and beautiful native birds here in the Swamp's Head State Forest.
I'll take a stab at that. So,
I mean, it should probably be Mr. Welker or Ashton, since they mechanically helped out.
Oh, it's not going to be me. Like, I'm trying to get my way out of the conversation once I realize that, like, I'm not helping. So I'm, like, going to leave you two to, like, finish this out.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe Ashton will say, well, yeah, it's one of these corporate initiatives that we're trying to help these local cattle and wildlife that's being, affected by these strange attacks. And anything that could help, would be really beneficial and, useful for us. But I mean, if you don't want these billions of dollars to help out the wildlife, I mean, behind us, that's fine.
And he's like, I guess the Gates Foundation does a lot of stuff, even though Bill Gates seems like he's kind of a shady character. But anyway. All right. So what do you, I'm sorry. What do you fellas need to know?
We're just wondering about them animal attacks.
Yeah, that's right. Hold on. Yeah. Here's my calendar. And he pulls it up, and you see several things where he can kind of go through, and indeed, here's what you run. Did you already make your investigate a mystery roll, David?
I did. I asked, what sort of creature is it? And I saw I'm holding one.
Okay. So, yeah, you can look at this, and it is very clearly a creature that is absolutely, apparently doing stuff related to these moon cycles, because you can quickly figure out from, or probably Herbert can figure this out in his, in his brain, that Dan Pringle is like, on this date, we found this, like a deer that was killed by some kind of large creature. On this date, we found this. On this date, we found this. On this date, we found this. And they're all very close to the first quarter, last quarter, or full moon state, like date. They're not necessarily all the next morning of it, like after it, but they're very close to it. Sometimes like only like a day away. And you're like, okay, very clearly that's what's going on. However, the thing is the new moon does not have any of those, and Jed Stoltzfus also didn't have any of those either. So these attacks you believe are occurring based on the cycle of the moon. That the first quarter, last quarter, and full moon are when this is happening.
I was going to say, what sort of creature does that imply, though?
It implies a strong creature that can leap over those barbed wire fences and seems to be directly related to the moon. So as far as what Darkblade websites and whatnot could tell you, some kind of were creature.
Okay. So nothing new. And then, well, did you have something to say, Sundry? Because I can hold this for the conversation.
Yeah, I was just wondering, y'all get panthers out here?
He's like, there are panthers that we've seen in the forest. The problem is they're so endangered For the most part, it's in areas that are far. We've made sure that in areas where they live to kind of keep trails away from them. So yes, there are panthers in the forest, but there's not a lot of them. And he goes on to,
are there times you see him more often than not?
he says, essentially, he says no.
Okay.
They're very rare to see. I mean, if we're specifically looking for them, we can find them. It's not that tough for us to do that. But the areas where these things are happening specifically aren't the area where those panthers are. They're in the area where people go.
And there's no kind of creature that's kind of affected adversely by light, strong light.
It's like by strong light. And again, he'll say like there are nocturnal animals.
Like a possum.
Well, yeah, but
Sure.
But did you know that the new moon is the brightest sort of moon, and the full moon? Like, is there some kind of moon-related creature here, or is that just not important?
To him, he'll say no, and he's not even, I think, aware of the moon thing. He's just showing you dates, and Darkblade can connect those dates.
When is the next quarter moon or full moon?
Why, that's a great question. Darkblade can probably tell you, or you can just look it up. And in fact, on the calendar that he has, it says that the next one is on the 16th. So it is the 10th.
Can I look at that calendar and see whether...
Or I'm sorry, no, it is the 11th, and it's on the 16th.
Wait, what? It's the 11th on the 16th? Make up your mind, Austin.
Today's the 11th.
Today's the
Okay.
11th of March.
Got
The
it.
16th of March is the next one of those days.
Okay. Does he have any other like social events marked around, or any other details marked around any of the other prior quarter moon or full moon dates?
If you guys ask him about that,
No. I like looking at his calendar.
looking at the calendar, I'll just say to move us along here. You don't see any kind of significant thing about that of like events
Okay.
that are scheduled.
All right,
Like
if we're moving on, did you find any tracks or anything left over from where these attacks happened?
So the problem here is you're asking this guy and he does not know. So he doesn't know.
So he is a dead end then.
He's not a dead end. It's just the way that you're asking these questions. Well, it's like this. Like, okay, I'm trying to interview a witness to get this information, but this witness only has part of the story. They're not there for the whole story, so they can't answer that thing necessarily. He can tell you that. How about this? He can tell you we have a lot of cameras set up in part to watch the panthers that do live in the forest, and we've not been able to see any of them do stuff. So we don't think that whatever is killing these animals is panthers. There's a possibility that it's poachers, I don't want to say poachers because they're not taking the animals themselves or anything particularly valuable. But if you're concerned, and if you've shared with me that there've been like cattle mutilations nearby, let alone if you've shared that there's also been a person murdered and you think this is somehow connected, he'll tell you that if this is a creature that lived in this forest, there's no way that it could live in that city park. But if it's a creature that is like comfortable enough with humans, maybe it could live in that city park, or even just in the city itself, though he doesn't know what kind of creature that would be.
Long pig.
So the answers to the investigate the mystery are: it's a were creature and it doesn't live in this park. It lives in the city. Is that right?
It does not live. It does not live in this state forest, and he says it could probably just live in the city or that city park.
It's a creature that's comfortable around people and attacks with moon cycles, and is strong enough to jump over fences, presumably, and kill people in one-on-one combat easily.
Yes.
Who's there with me? Sundry, I guess. Still.
All of you guys are all there.
Not me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Welker
Mr.
left.
Walker's
right?
outside, but
Yeah.
Darkblade and Sundry are there.
Gotcha. So I think he's gonna just aside for the camera, really, to Sundry, and just like, well, this is stuff we already knew. I think this guy's a dead end. I'm done. I'm out. I can't think of anything else to ask him. Go for it.
Well, I just wanted to thank you for your service, Trooper Dan. It's not a lot of people come out here and protect these wetlands, and it's a beautiful country we got out here.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, well thank you guys for looking into this stuff, I guess." And is there like a program for grant money that that maybe the park could apply to? Because
there surely is. We talked to Mr. Welker about it. If you want to give me your contact details.
Sure. And so you guys exchange kind of information with this guy. Indeed.
Well, you got to catch this thing first, though.
All right, so I'm gonna get everyone back in the van and drive off.
Okay.
And as we're driving off, I'll say sort of the meat of what we've been discussing is sort of the conversation we're having with each other. Like, okay, here's what we know. All right. We know that this is when it attacks. It's moon-based. It's comfortable around people. It's powerful. It can presumably leap. And presumably there might be another attack in 5 days.
And it's targeting outsiders.
Here,
Let me targeting outsiders.
Let me ask you this. Do you tell Ranger Dan Pringle about the frequency of these attacks?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, we got to go. We got another one of these happening on the 16th. It's like a regular cadence.
So he like when you tell him this, he kind of like looks at you guys like, that sounds nuts.
Yeah, that's what I thought until the last attack happened. Just plot it out for yourself. And I'll like show him a notepad or something like that.
Yeah, and if you guys have a notepad, it indeed does have for the last almost year, every full moon, first quarter, and last quarter date with attacks either in almost every. There's a few missing here or there. An attack either at Jed Stoltzfus's ranch, an attack here at this state forest, or unfortunately, most recently, that attack on Chad Barker, the college student.
Are there particular attacks? So are like all of the ranch attacks on like the quarter, and all of the others on the full or something like that?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, man, if you ask me, I think that Jed Stoltzfus is the closest we have to a person of suspicion, just given his proximity alone. But that aside, if this creature is getting bold enough to attack students in a park in the city, this is going to be a real problem. And if it's that comfortable people, maybe that's where it'll attack next. Maybe it's used up the ranch, or it's bored of the ranch, the park.
I agree with you about that rancher. It's almost always the victim that did it.
That sounds like some real Darkblade talk.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah, sounds like some real content.
That's a loaded comment about his own crime.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right, so let me, unless you guys have something like real killer to say here, let me fast forward if that's cool.
My idea is just to ask the agency if they want to help me at all.
That's a good idea. The other thing we could do is set a trap.
Would love to.
Set a big fake cow with like a Guernsey cow, like an obvious out-of-towner cow, on the ranch. Cause a werewolf, I'd tear
dress it up,
in a second.
put lipstick on it so it looks really sexy.
Yeah.
Okay, Carl, go ahead and make your dealing with the agency roll.
All right, I got a 4.
Ooh, that's a stinker.
Hmm.
Okay. Ooh. I think here's the deal. On a miss, you screwed up, and you might be suspended or under investigation or just in the doghouse. Oh. Can I tell you that they'll give you some minor help, but they're pissed because in this time they were contacted by 2 different people, including by the state of Florida Parks Department, with this like request for this crazy grant that they're like, what are you talking about? And so now to like cover up what you're doing, they have to give this huge chunk of money to the state of Florida
Awesome.
Parks Department.
I consider that a
Somebody's happy
win.
about that.
Yeah, for humanity, that's fine. But for the company, they're like, God damn it, this is really, to them, it's not much of a deal. It's just like, stop making these errors that are costing us money. The other big thing is they can contact for you and get you some information. But a local detective is starting to ask some questions about like what's going on and exactly how you guys are supposed to be assisting them. And I think that, again, the company just solved this problem in part with more money because they are fairly well connected. And they're basically like, hey, and they basically will tell you, we've spent all the money we can spend to make some of these little issues go away. If we start spending more money, it will become its own problem. So what you're doing, you need to guide this more carefully, because I think that I think they use the term ill use of company funds and resources. And Mr. Welker's like, my heart as a company man.
Yeah, as a former accountant.
Yeah, and so they had to, for instance, give like the Palmetto City Police Department. And again, for society, this isn't a bad thing. They had to donate like all of these
5 new cruisers.
Yeah, they had to donate like new cop cars, basically, or like
Money well spent, if you ask me.
Or like or even like
seen those old cruisers in the parade?
Like
Terrible.
Kevlar vests and new radios, and like they had to like basically give them a bunch of money and stuff like that. And so they were able to get you some information, and they gave you specifically they can give you the name of this person, Addie Zems, who is a like looked at the coroner report and looked at all this information and is a zoologist and animal control expert. If you guys want to talk to Addie Zems, you can get some additional information. But first, we see a shot of a couple, and they're camping. We see like this cute young couple, and they're maybe in their like early 20s, and they are kind of backpacking in with just some light stuff, and they have like a bunch of grocery bags of booze, and they're like, oh, this is gonna be great, right, baby? And the girl, who's like a white girl with dreadlocks, is like, oh, this is gonna be so good. And they kind of walk past a sign that says Swamp's Head State Forest, and they go and they sit down and they are camping, and they're kind of drinking, and they're getting a little frisky with one another. They're making out, and then she says, wait a minute, did you hear that noise? And he's like, oh, it's probably just like an armadillo or a raccoon or something. I saw them all on the sign. I don't know why they even bothered putting those there. Of course there's raccoons. And then we see that same shaky camera from when Chad got attacked. And we see it like approaching and approaching and approaching. And just as this thing gets right to the kind of like the cusp of the campsite where there's a small fire, you hear like what are you guys doing here? And it's Ranger Dan Pringle, and he's like, you guys can't be out here, and you certainly can't have a fire out here. What the hell? and he like looks at this thing, like he like looks over at the camera that we see from the perspective of what attacked Chad Barker, and he looks at it, and he like shines the flashlight at it, and it kind of like runs away, and then we see Ranger Pringle, and he's like, "What the hell was that?" And he like kind of gets on a radio, and he's like, "Oh, so and so, this, blah blah blah, so and so this." And he's just talking to them, and he's like, "There's some kind of animal out here." And they're like, "What was it? Was it a coyote?" And he's like, "It was at least as big as a bear, but no, it didn't look like a coyote. I don't know what the hell that was."
This American Monster is a production of This American Dice. This American Monster uses the Monster of the Week system, a game published by Evil Hat Productions and by Michael Sands. Sundry Charms is Lee. Chase Welker is Carl. Darkblade 69 is Alex. Ashton Greene is David. And your Game Master is Austin Smith. Our theme song is by Patrick Ross. It's called Sinlude. Be sure to check us out on social media like Facebook, and be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and tell a friend.
A little Game Master advice based on what happened in this episode and some of the issues that we ran into. This episode actually caused quite a lot of disturbance at the table, and some folks got pretty ticked off because they felt they were being either railroaded or sandbagged, that things that they had earned they weren't getting in the game based on the mechanics. So here's some suggestions that I have. Be clear to your players about what's going on and what they know and what they don't. That's super helpful. Honestly, whenever there's any doubt, if you're just more clear with them about that, it's better. If you're running a mystery, and we've already had some suggestions about this on the site, some suggestions for how to run a mystery, being clear that, hey, you still don't know this is good. And if you don't want to give them the full amount of information, that's okay, but just be sure that you tell them that you're not giving them that full information. Another thing is that if the narrative doesn't allow the players to do what they want to do, be clear about it so you don't seem like you're railroading or sandbagging them. Like, in this moment, you can't figure that out. All right? I'm trying to figure out the motive of the murderer just looking at fingerprints. I can't do that. That's not within the purview of what's going on here. I might want to know that information. I can't find it. So be clear to them about that. And then if there seems to be a person that is not getting something throughout the conversation between Ranger Pringle and David's character, Ashton, it seemed like Ashton just wasn't asking the right questions. And a mistake of mine was that I should have just told him, or I should have asked him, is this a character choice? Are you choosing to make this character not do this way? Is there a reason you're not asking these questions? I kind of got into it and said, if you tell him about this stuff, but the players then never said, I tell him about these things, or I give this additional information. So he was asking general questions about, are there animals that are affected by the moon? What's the deal with the moon? And so within the narrative, it didn't make sense that this guy provide that information. But what I should have just done was say, what is it that you're trying to do? And we should have talked about what could be achieved in this scene within the narrative framework that we had created, rather than leave my players in the lurch, feeling like, hey, I made this roll, I got a good roll, I'm entitled to an answer to this question, and I'm not getting that answer. So, those are some suggestions that I have. We'll see you guys next week with the third episode, and we'll figure out what's going on with this creature and these sexy hippies.